If enlightenment is real, it can't just be reserved for special people. It can't just be reserved for monks or mystics or people who have devoted themselves to a cave or a monastery. If enlightenment is real, it must be present in all experience. What we're really saying isn't enlightenment. We're talking about truth. We're talking about reality. We're talking about the source of our being. When we talk about enlightenment, we're not talking about a state that we're seeking to find. At least we shouldn't be. We're talking about understanding what we are on a fundamental level and simply living from that place. Whatever it is, it must be accessible now. We must all come to that realization at some stage. And then we must also come to the realization that if it is accessible now, it cannot be accessible via a state of mind, because it means it's always been there. It means it's always been present. And if it's always been present, then what we're looking for should not be something that is actually different from what we're currently experiencing. And the biggest issue that we have on this path is that we consistently look for something different to what we're currently experiencing. And what happens when we look for something different to what we're currently experiencing is that we will never therefore see what we're already experiencing by simply bypassing it to look for something else. This video is going to help you come to terms with what you are and show you exactly what you've already experienced before, although you may have overlooked it or undervalued it or misunderstood it. So the first thing to see is that we need to actually understand what we mean by enlightenment. Enlightenment simply means to recognize what you are on a fundamental level, on the deepest core of what you are. What is that? Then to embody that. So basically to evaporate the belief that you are something other than that. So we've all had enlightening experiences, and these enlightening experiences, they give us a glimpse of what we are. Although straight after, a day, a week, a month, or a year, we go back to seemingly believing ourselves to be temporary and finite. It is as though we have 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and we don't know what or how it is possible that we have had the experience. It feels as though it was too good to be true. We doubt ourselves. We think that, no, this couldn't have been what it was. I must be wrong, but if I'm wrong, then what am I looking for? And we feel completely confused, completely lost, and we have no idea what we're looking for, what we're even doing anymore. And this is going to lead to burnout. This is going to lead to a complete misunderstanding, and this is going to lead to another few decades of seeking. Some of you have probably experienced that. So what we want to do is realize that any enlightening experience that we've had is not what we are looking for. They say that the bigger the experience, the bigger the ego. So just remember that whenever you've had any of these experiences, we don't want to look for an experience. What we're looking for is the source of experience. So the source of experience isn't itself a phenomenal experience. So it doesn't come in the form of a size, shape, or color. It doesn't come in the form of a feeling or an emotion or some type of like conceptual iteration, like I loved everyone, I was in love with everyone, I was one with everyone. It doesn't come in that form, you see, because then you look for it. I don't feel one with everyone now, I must not be experiencing it. You're looking in the wrong place. So the thing to see is that what you essentially are is pure consciousness. And most people, they experience this, but because it's not an experience, they mistake it. They mistake the things that come with it, the parade, the fireworks, when you first realize this. But you don't want to live in those fireworks, because what that means is that the current experience that we're having is insufficient. When I go back to my normal day-to-day state, it's so insufficient for me, I can't cope with it. I want the ones with the fireworks. If you can't see the fireworks in the normal day-to-day natural condition that your mind is in, you'll never see fireworks. That is the place to see the existential zest. That's the place to have it. That's the place to live. If you can't live there, your peace is fragile. So what we want to see is, what is that which is observing experience? That which observes experience is not what is in experience. Now, some of you may already have come to this realization, but we're going to take it a step further. I'm going to take you through the whole process. What's observing experience is not what is observed. So what we find is the first step is to simply see what I essentially am is pure consciousness. What does that mean? It means that on a fundamental level, you are aware of yourself right now. You are aware that you are. You know that you exist. So you know that you are alive, because being alive means I am aware that I exist. I have an existence. And when I know that, that's what we call something that is alive. It's like Frankenstein's monster. He's alive. What is he? He knows his own existence. He is self-aware. That self-awareness is simply either going to be limited by the belief that that awareness is contained in the body, or it's going to be known that that awareness is infinite or not. We want to see whether it is actually limited. On the path to seeing whether it's limited, we find all the things that have held us back from believing, of knowing whether we are infinite or not. So right now you're experiencing, and all you know right now is that you are experiencing. And in this experience, there are two things. There is that which you are experiencing, sounds, sensations, thoughts, perceptions, and then you are aware that you are experiencing them. All we're going to do is just not focus on what we're experiencing and focus on the one that is aware of experiencing them. Now, this one is not an object. This one doesn't have an objective quality. It is experiencing objective qualities. Any objective quality we would experience of ourself is therefore not ourself. It is something we are experiencing of our perceptions. So notice the only experience of your body is perceptions, and you know yourself, you are not a perception because you experience perceptions. You are not yourself a sight. You are not yourself a taste, a sensation. You're not a color. You're not a sound. You're not a smell. That is all you know of your body, is sensations, sights, smells. You are not fundamentally any of those. You experience those. So go to that one which is experiencing those. And what you'll find is that that one that is experiencing those is pure being. It is. There's nothing else to say about it other than it is. That isness of yourself is your I am. This is what Ramana Maharshi and Nisargadatta talk about. Go to that place which the I refers. Go to the place where the I am points to. What is it pointing to? It's pointing to you, which is pure amness, meaning pure existence-ness. This is a very subtle thing to see. You're basically seeing your own existence in its purest form. Your existence in its purest form is pure consciousness. All it does is know itself. And because it's not an object, it is as though we are knowing nothing. So when you simply know yourself, it is as though you are knowing nothing. But it's only nothing from the point of view of someone who has believed themselves to be something for so long. If we've believed ourselves to be the mind, from the point of view of that perspective, knowing your true nature is going to seem like you are knowing nothing. But what you're actually knowing is pure reality itself. So see now that in your experience, there is only reality. Meaning there is only that which is real, that which is true, and that which exists. And you know this simply because you do exist. If you know you exist, you are real. If you are real, you are true. In other words, you're not fake. You're not something that isn't actually there, that you think is there. You are there. That which is there is pure reality. It is that which is the substance of all realities. Look at anybody else's experience or anybody else that can comprehend the question. Everyone will tell you the same thing. I am. I exist. This one that exists is pure existence itself. It is the source of existence. So think about it. If enlightenment is in all experience because it would have to be, then it would have to be that which is consistent in all experience. What else would be consistent in all experience? Perceptions change all the time. Everything we experience changes all the time, apart from the one thing that does not change, which is the fact that we are. The are-ness, the amness, that which is the substance of your experience, that which allows experience to be experienced, which is the fact that you exist. Now, this existence is alive. We usually believe aliveness. I am alive because my heart is beating, my lungs are breathing, I perceive a world. That's when we are basically still accustomed to the mind. Once we see this aliveness, we see this aliveness actually is the energy, right? Think about it. Everything is being sustained by something. Something can't just be without there being anything sustaining it. It's impossible. Everything is alive right now. Everything that you are experiencing is being energized by something. A TV is energized by electricity. Lighters are powered by the fuel. Everything is powered by what? It's powered by that which is alive. What else could be powering life other than the thing that is alive? And that which is alive is not the body. It's not the mind. The mind and the body are emanated from that which is alive. They are powered by that aliveness that you are experiencing. So right now you are like the sun experiencing its own light. And you're seeing that the sun is its own energy supply, and the sun is what gives life to everything else. Everything else doesn't give light to the sun gives light to everything else. In the same way, your existence, you think, is created by everything else. I am alive because everything else existed first and it created me. No, you are actually experiencing the source of existence, and that is what gives life to everything else. So that which is alive in you is what is alive in me, is what is alive in everybody else. We share the same being. It is the same consciousness that knows itself, which is self-knowing existence. This is why it feels so good to be in the now, because when we're in the now, we're actually being with the source of existence, and the source of existence doesn't exist in time and space. It doesn't exist in form or color. It doesn't exist in the 3D land. It's pure absence of time and space, which is where we are all connected. We are all literally not just connected, we're all in the now, but we lose ourselves, so to speak, into time and space, which is basically the experience that we want to enjoy. We don't want to remove time and space, but while we're getting accustomed to this, it's necessary to spend time inwards, so to speak. Once we digest this fully, the body and the mind basically have been conditioned to think. Now, this is the next step. If you're following along right now, you can really, this is going to be huge for you. You realize this is your normal natural condition. It's the absence of conditions. It's the absence of states. Any state that arises has nothing to do, any feeling of happiness that you experience has nothing to do with your true nature. It's just an excitation in the body. And what happens is once we start to absorb, so to speak, in this knowledge, which isn't a knowledge, but I don't know what other word to use. Once we absorb in this understanding and we absorb in our being, it starts to bleed into experience. So it basically, imagine like your body is like a little thing. It goes from the head, from the mind into the body and into the world. It downloads, so to speak. When we download software, this is like downloading the infinite software. This is like a hack, a glitch in the system. You're downloading it's like it shouldn't be able to be downloaded. You know what I mean? Like obviously it should, but I'm being, playful here. So that takes time to download. When you go into the world, you're back into time and space, and that understanding has to digest. And on the way down, it will get caught, so to speak, in layers of belief. Layers of belief that said, yes, I know that I'm this. I can feel this aliveness. But when I go back into experience, I feel like I'm the body again. I see separate people. This means you have layers of thought and feeling that create layers of belief that create thoughts and feelings that basically prevent almost this download from getting through. like bugs in the system, so to speak. And your job, this is the post-enlightenment process. This is the post-awakening process. This is what my private community talks about. This is why I made the community, to resolve, because everybody's waking up right now. And this is what we have to see. The hard part is the easy part now. You see, what used to be something that you spent 25,000 years in a monastery for is now, or lifetimes, as some people have put it, is now the easy part. You don't have to go and do that. It's just the evolution of whatever's going on. I don't understand it, but that's how it is. So what we're doing now is integrating this awakening and taking it through these layers of thought, feeling, and perception. And what will happen is you'll go, I feel like I'm in the body though. I feel like my aliveness is inside the body. Then your exploration has to go, okay then, where is the body? Is the body something I actually experience? What are the what proves to me the body is there? If you've seen any of my other videos where I talk about perception, we've basically got to remove all the concepts that we've appropriated onto our experience, because we knew we built them when we had a faulty knowledge of the world. We had wrong knowledge of the world. We had knowledge of the world that isn't fundamentally correct. It's useful. It's useful as a model to actually have an experience, but it's not useful in a way of reality, because it's not true. So we basically unravel now all the things that we've had. So this is basically the birth and death process. The ego death is simply recognizing that which is emanating experience, and the ego is a belief in being the limited aspect of experience, which then creates a thought, a feeling, and an action. So you're always your true nature. Don't ever think that, I was being an ego. You weren't being an ego. You were being your true nature that wrapped itself in a belief and just acted really, really well. Like you just acted really, really well. It was almost as though you were limited, temporary, and finite. But you weren't. But you acted as though. That is what the ego is, when we are acting as though. But we're not, you see? So the ego is not an entity. It's basically the thought, feeling, or action created by the belief that you are fundamentally the body and the mind. That's what creates lack. Lack drives us to search for objects, drives us to do egoic things like big myself up, brag, build a big sense of identity, or be really shy and closed off from the world and have a really small identity. It's what creates us, it makes us do things we call egoic, because we're just trying to fulfill ourselves. We're just trying to see what we just saw about the nature of our being. So enlightenment is simply to see that. It's not a state of mind. It's not an experience. It's simply to know what you are. Now look at all the aspects of your life. You've always been experiencing that. Whenever you've had a flow state, whenever you've been doing something you love, whenever you've been having fun, whenever you've been in love, you've been experiencing this pure aspect of your being which does not resist any experience. So the more that you download, so to speak, this true essence of what you are, this understanding of what you are, and this experience, I say experience it's a special experience. It's the experience of not an experience. It's a weird thing to talk about. But once you download this, less and less things have power over you, and peace basically emulates from you. This is where people start saying, you seem so calm all the time, so peaceful. Once you start to hear other people saying it, that's when you know you've taken it into the world. It's gone through the mind, into the body, and into the world. So this is what you should be measuring your parameters with, is just how peaceful you are unconditionally, how happy you are, irrespective of your circumstances. That is the measurement of peace, unconditional happiness. The truth should be simple. It should be normal. It should be casual. It's what we've already been experiencing this whole time. The only difference is that we just thought we were something else. We just thought we were something limited. But what we are is not limited. It is what creates all limitation. Therefore, it is the source of freedom, because it's the only thing that can create limitations. And you can't experience anything without creating limitations. In other words, without creating borders, sizes, shapes, things, time, space, everything other than that. You took all those away, what do you experience? You experience nothing. But if we want to experience anything, and being basically the source of reality, which is God, it wants to create everything because it's God. God is creation, it's pure freedom. And in freedom, it creates limitations to experience them. It's like our freedom creates games. We create movies. They are a limitation. We sit there, stare at a screen, and we follow a story that's predetermined. And we love that. We follow games. We create rules. We create boundaries. And we play with the limitations. That is a game. Why is it that we emulate these types of things? Because that is actually where we come from. That's what we love. It's what we enjoy. So the more we express this freedom, it looks like an existential zest. So look for existential zest is unconditional happiness. It's not a dry boredom. It's not this dull, yes, I'm at peace. I am so peaceful and I am calm and there's nothing coming out of me. That's a resistance. That's a subtle resistance. And I've got a video on this, which I can share. I hope this video is helpful. I have a link in the description for a free community where you can join and partake in the meditations that I share, where I talk people through this process. I hope you have an amazing day, guys. Take care. Bye.